think about Walz's descriptions of his military career? Because there's some issues there that people have. I don't know if he flat out ever said that he served in Afghanistan, but he certainly didn't dissuade people from saying that he was when they were saying he didn't correct them.
Right.
There was things
he didn't, and he did.
Joe Rogan is not a politician, not a news anchor, not a polished debater with talking points rehearsed in the mirror. He's a straight shooter, a cultural force, and when he sets his sights on someone, you can bet the fallout will be loud, raw, and impossible to ignore. And this time, that someone was none other than Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. It happened during one of Rogan's fiery podcast exchanges, the kind of conversation that spirals out of control once the truth starts spilling. Rogan made it clear
he believes a lot
Walz
of wild
wasn't walking
things.
away
One of
from
them is
his mistake.
transgender surgery
With surgical
for people
precision,
who are under
Rogan
13.
laid out the
So for those out there
contradictions,
who are
missteps,
wondering,
the
aren't there
double
something
standards
else
that
you
Walz
could be
thought he
doing
could
or
hide
doesn't
behind.
seem to impact
And instead
you
of backing
in your
down,
life? This is
Rogan
what it means
pressed
to show
harder,
empathy.
driving
This is what
point
it
after
means
point
to be
until the
welcoming.
governor's
He
credibility
changed
was
the
hanging by
Minnesota
a
state
thread.
flag to
What
make
makes
it
this
look
moment
like a Somali
so
flag.
explosive?
You haven't seen that?
isn't
But our
just
other current
Rogan's
flag
doing.
is problematic. I
It's
think
the
we all
fact
know
that
that.
millions
We've
of
evolved
people
into
trust him
a
more than the
more
very
diverse state,
institution
and I
Walz
think it's more
represents.
reflective of that.
The podcast has become the new public square, and when you get called out there, you don't just take a PR hit. You risk your entire reputation. Walz came in thinking he could defend himself with the same polished rhetoric that works on cable news. But Rogan doesn't play that game. He interrupts, he challenges, he forces you into corners, and he won't let you wriggle out with empty slogans. And by the end of it, Walz wasn't just rattled. He looked exposed, the mask ripped off for everyone to see. And the public? They're not forgetting this anytime soon.
If that Tim Walz cocksucker, if that guy got into power, like if Kamala died and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, was our president, you know how crazy this country would be? That weirdo who puts tampons in the boys' room, and what about our joy? Like he's a complete pathological liar, like a complete liar. Lied about being in Tiananmen Square, lied about being a fucking head coach of a football.
When Joe Rogan confronts you, it's not just about the moment, it's about the ripple effect. The echo that grows louder and louder long after the exchange ends. And for Tim Walz, that echo is sounding more like a career alarm bell than a minor PR hiccup. Because here's the truth. Rogan didn't just poke holes in Walz's talking points. He shattered the entire framework of credibility that the governor has carefully built. Point by point, Rogan highlighted policies that didn't add up, exposed contradictions between Walz's words and actions, and reminded everyone listening that politicians can't hide behind polished language anymore. Not when people are hungry for blunt honesty. What makes this moment devastating is the audience Rogan commands. Millions of listeners from every background, tuning in not for spin, but for unfiltered reality. Walz found himself in an arena he couldn't control, and the cracks in his leadership style became glaring. The hesitation in his answers.
I don't know. Tim Walz is out there talking again.
You say he could fight any Trump supporter?
Yeah, he says he'd kick their ass, and they're scared of him because he could fix a truck. Like they're threatened by his masculinity. I know how to fix a truck. So he said, like, do you? I bet you don't.
The lady doth protest too much.
I bet you don't.
I fear.
I bet if I bring a broken truck to you and a bag of tools,
that was kind of the redress, right? That was the attempt. It was like we're gonna the symbol of masculinity on the left is going to be Tim.
Video of Tim Walz doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Exact same thing, and he said, of course, it's a Nazi salute. He said that.
Right.
We spent 3 days debating, having them trying to debate that President Musk gave a Nazi salute. Of course he did. But that is a distraction.
This is how crazy things have gotten. Like,
It's cord.
The sidestepping of Rogan's direct questions, the frustration in his tone. It painted the picture of a politician who wasn't prepared to be challenged outside of the safe bubble of mainstream media. And then came the part that's now being clipped, shared, and replayed everywhere. Rogan pressing Walz on transparency, on accountability, on owning up to mistakes. The governor stumbled, and Rogan pounced, hammering home the kind of questions that regular citizens have been asking for years, but never get answered directly. That moment didn't just embarrass Walz. It validated every skeptic who felt he was hiding something. The internet has no mercy, and social media is already ablaze with Rogan's lines being quoted, memes circulating, and critics pointing out that Walz looked weak, cornered, and stripped of authority. This isn't just a podcast exchange. It's a permanent record, a viral moment that chips away at his political armor. Because here's the harsh reality. When Rogan dismantles your image, it's not just about losing a debate. It's about losing the trust of people who may never vote for you, never support your initiatives, never see you the same way again. That's the kind of hit that lingers, the kind of damage that reshapes a political career. For Tim Walz, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's career-threatening.
100% right with Tim Walz.
I know I'm doing something right when the Fox News crowd is all pitching at me like crazy. Like, I'm loving it.
That guy was almost the vice president of the United States.
Elon Musk was crying last week. Tim is being mean to me, basically, you know, like, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that thing where it shows Obama saying, I need a vice president that's dumber than me.
He may or may not have cognitive decline problems at his age, but at her age, she's just dumb.
Yeah,
Biden and
I think
Biden
I was
saying,
saying that
I
on
need
your
a vice
Interviews and there's no pushback. There's no like, excuse me, I didn't go to Iraq, right?
Exactly.
And I retired, as my unit was deploying. And so
We were retired a couple months before.
A couple months
deployed,
before,
right?
Yes,
what is the whole
but those
story
guys
behind
know
it?
they know that they're going, right. It's
Right.
not like they suddenly get a paper, on one day. There's a build up to that, and they're aware of it. And so, even his personnel were saying, look, we all knew we were going. He knew he was going. Now, okay.
At the end of the day, what Joe Rogan did wasn't just an interview. It was a dismantling. Tim Walz walked into that room as a governor, a polished figure of authority, but he walked out exposed, every weakness amplified, every excuse torn apart, every hesitation broadcast for millions to see. Rogan didn't need fancy production or scripted attacks. He just needed truth, straight talk, and the courage to ask what others were too afraid to. And Walz? He couldn't handle it. In the hours and days that followed, the Rogan-Walz clash didn't fade, it intensified. Headlines picked it up, pundits dissected every word, and social media turned it into a firestorm.
Seen this video?
I haven't seen. Please play it.
It's probably a real person. It might not be Tim Walz. Trump is AI generated.
No, he slaps his...
I mean, that is hilarious.
Oh, it's definitely him. This is all 100% real, Jamie. You're a plant by the
Jamie's
government.
compromised.
On top says it's AI generated.
Riley
So
Moore
what?
fell for an AI-generated video of Minnesota government. I fell for it, too. And you know why I fell for it?
Yeah.
Because I believe that he's capable of doing something.
What was supposed to be just another political appearance turned into a defining moment, one that Walz will never escape. Because the truth is this, once Rogan exposes you, the damage doesn't go away. Voters replay the clips, critics sharpen their knives, and rivals see blood in the water.
More time. I mean, they were talking about cracking down on hate speech online. Like, that free speech is not hate speech. That Tim Walz guy was actually saying that.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
Hate speech. You know? No. The video of him taking down the Minnesota flag and he replaced it with the new flag that looks a lot like the Somali flag. Minnesota has a huge population of Somalis in it. All right, ready. Whoa, wait a minute. So he gets the flag, picks it up, and replaces it.
There, that's better.
Why is that better?
American history.
It's so perfect.
Kamala saying, I need a vice president dumber than me. It's Walz. Men have tampons.
We have a lot of accomplishments. We haven't taken adequate credit for it, frankly. We got to do a better job of getting the word out about what we have accomplished and who did it.
You got to lose because we got to break this cycle. We're getting way too.
Walz isn't just facing embarrassment. He's facing a career that may never recover its footing. The power dynamic has flipped. Joe Rogan, with nothing but a mic and an audience hungry for honesty, managed to do what no opponent had, strip away the polish and show Walz for who he really is. And as the dust settles, one fact is undeniable. The governor didn't just lose an argument. He lost control of his image. And that loss could haunt him far longer than he ever imagined. This wasn't just confrontation, it was career destruction, and Joe Rogan delivered it with precision. The clips are everywhere, the backlash is growing, and the narrative has already shifted. Walz isn't seen as strong. He's seen as rattled, defensive, and unprepared. That's the kind of image that sticks, the kind that stains careers. For Joe Rogan, it was another night behind the mic. For Tim Walz, it may have been the moment his political downfall truly began.